guys, today's video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. If you haven't done it already, head down to the description before this video starts, click the link and download it completely free of charge on iOS or Android. Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Charlton Athletic Career Mode. Today we are on episode 12 and as you can see on the screen in front of you, we are about to enter transfer deadline day very shortly. Now, I don't actually anticipate much business in terms of incomings to Charlton. We've already done most of our business, but we've still got our eye on potential free transfers, so that's the only real movement that may happen. Also, potential loan outgoings, but I'm planning not to have anybody leave the club unless there is a really good offer for them. So, let's do that. Let's go ahead and get into transfer deadline day. I'm hoping there are no real important notifications in the next 4 days. So if we go down here and press advance, hopefully it will take us straight through to transfer deadline day. Now, I'm also going to have a look on deadline day at any potential free transfers I can make. Mascot, we tried to send him on loan. You can see that popped up there and it fell through. Here we are then, it's transfer deadline day. Things are about to change. 10 hours left. Now, we've had the maximum amount of time now to scout any players that we want to have a look at in this this 0 to 1 year left on their contract category over here. So let's have a look down here and see if there's anybody we want to sign. Alright, so I've just been completely through every player on this list and there are a few that I've added newly to the transfer hub and on the short list. So I'm going to go over to the transfer hub now and do you know what? I'm not actually entirely sure what determines whether you can directly approach a player, because the one thing that all of those had in common is that they've got 6 months remaining on their contract, but some of them you still can't directly approach. Like this guy you can, and this guy I don't think you can, even though they've got the same amount of months left on their contract. So I'm gonna have to go through here and see if I can identify any particular players that are going to be really useful for us and that we are able to directly approach for a free transfer. So yeah, that was a bit of a waste of time really, but at least we know that we're not missing out on any players that we could have got for free. But the only player that I can actually directly approach, I believe, is this guy here. It's actually not, it's one of the other keepers. Is it this guy? Yes, it's this guy. Jeremy Vachou. He's the only one who I can approach to sign, and as you know, we've already tried to sign, or have successfully signed actually, Jose De Vecchi, who is coming in the summer. So no more players that we can sign for free. We have about 500k I think left in the bank, maybe just under that. And I think that how it calculates your finances for the next season does depend on the sort of remaining transfer budget you had left from the previous season. Also down here, we've got a transfer offer for Chris Solly, 610 grand from Pachuca. I don't actually have any intention of selling our, basically our club captain and one of our best players in the club really at this level, but Deek still has just been playing so well and has managed to just nick that first team starting lineup spot ahead of Chris Solly, but Chris Solly definitely still in our plan. So let's go ahead over here now. 10 hours left. I will interject with the commentary if any things develop or if any big offers come in, but I think we probably will just be able to get it down to 0 without anything really important happening. So let's go. So about 3 hours left to go of transfer deadline day, and this team Cruz Azul have shown interest in purchasing Dylan Phillips for 1.3 million. At this point, he is going to be our first team keeper going into the next season, whether that's in the Championship or in League One. So we're going to reject that. It's a nice amount of money. It's considerably above his transfer value, but what can we really do with 1.3 million at this point? Not a lot. So we're going to reject that. We're going to keep Dylan Phillips for now. We've still got our eye on that De Boer guy who I spoke about in one of the last 2 episodes, the keeper who's 21 years old from AZ Alkmaar. So we're going to keep Phillips for now and keep one eye open. And here we go. 1 hour left of the transfer window. Let's get this last hour ticked down, and that means that we know exactly what our squad is going to be going into the second part of this season. So that was a very interesting transfer window. Just to recap then, let's go over here to the squad. We've got 7 office notifications as well that I want to have a look at. Oh, and now it's the first of the month actually. We see that there are some natural upgrades. One is Deek Still, who's gone from a 69 to a 70. One is Forster Kaski, 68 to 69, that's really good. And one is Tariq Fosu, 70 to 71. However, I've also noticed, oh, and actually, Chris Solly, 68 to 69, interesting, hasn't played a lot, so rather surprised to see that, to be honest, but that's good nonetheless. Pratley, however, has gone from a 66 to a 65. He is actually 33 years old, so that is no surprise, but he's still very usable for the remainder of this season. And Zhu has gone up as well to a 65. Lots of changes here. Cullen as well, hasn't played a whole lot, but has gone up to a 67. And Earl as well, another one. I've just seen him as well. One of our new signings. He's gone up to a 69. I'm not sure if Bielik was a 64 or 65, but he's 65 now. And I think that is all in terms of rating changes. Maybe Jed Steele was a 64. No, I don't think he was. So I think that is basically it. But a lot of nice upgrades there that were just sort of natural upgrades, as I mentioned. But yeah, sorry, let me go back into this and we'll go over our transfer business in January. So the first and most important signing for me was this guy down here. Oh, he's a 69 rated left back. He can play left mid and striker bizarrely as well, despite the fact that his finishing, how do I actually see his finishing? Let me see. Here we go. His finishing here is 40, and that is really not great for a striker. So it's odd to me that he has that striker trait. I know he's 6'3", but even like his heading accuracy isn't particularly great. It's 46 there. So I don't know, interesting, but he's a versatile player. Apparently he can play up front. He's a tall guy. He's a lot taller than Lewis Page, for example, who's 5'10". So just another option at left back, and actually higher rated even now than Lewis Page at only the age of 20. So a big signing, basically, him. And we also obviously got Reece Oxford in on loan, CB, CDM and RB, right back, centre defensive midfield. Those are his three positions. He is 6'3" as well, 20 years old. The West Ham young, I think England under 20s or under 19s, whatever, starlet, has joined the Addicks for a short period until the end of the season, as we have suffered this big injury to Patrick Bauer. As far as I remember, that was the only transfer business we did, and of course we also got Zhu into the club as well. This guy here, he's 17 years old, can play all across midfield. Not the fastest player, look at his sprint speed there, 61, acceleration 69. Luckily we can train that, considering it's FIFA 19 and not FIFA 18 or anyone before that. But he's 5'7", 17 years old, can play across the midfield. Average skill moves and weak foot stars there, but he's a good player. 65 rated for a 17-year-old is pretty decent, especially at League 1 level, so he's definitely one for the future. But that is pretty much our transfer business in review, over and done with. So a decent squad. It's not the biggest of squads still, but we've certainly strengthened some very, very key positions, namely left back, which was really important for me. Unfortunately, we couldn't strengthen goalkeeper this transfer window, but obviously we have sort of semi-addressed that, and we have got one eye on what we're going to do in the future. But that is it for the transfer business. Now let's move on to the rest of the season and make sure that this squad can hit some good form and get us the points that we need to get automatic promotion, at the very, very most, or at the very least playoffs. I can't drop out of this top 6, absolutely not. The current target, if we go into standings, is to break into this top 2. As we know, Scunthorpe top, Sunderland second, 65 points. Scunthorpe absolutely running away with this league right now, but we are neck and neck with Sunderland to nick that second place at the moment, and who knows how the next sort of 16 games, I think it is 16, 17 games, so who knows how many points will be dropped and gained by all these teams in and around the top sort of area of the table. I'll go all the way down to the bottom of the table if anybody's interested in how any other teams are doing. And without further ado, we can get into the rest of the season. As you can see here as well, the top scorer, oh, it's actually been changed since we've progressed a few days, but Charlie Wyke is now top of the leaderboard. It was Lyle Taylor on 15, so Taylor needs another goal to overtake Wyke, but we care more obviously about this table, but you know, it's always nice to get the top scorer. So we have this game against Fleetwood anyway. A very important game. I seem to be saying that after, or before, sorry, every single game, which is completely true. All of these games are so important because we need to just build the momentum. But actually, before we do that, we have a youth squad monthly report to look into here. So Liang Mao is still here. He's a 65 to 81 potential. We don't know at which end of that he's going to fall. Overall at the moment, 49. I imagine he's going to be about a 78 overall potential. And we can't actually promote him yet as he's still 15 years old. We've got a few scout reports on some players in the transfer hub for future reference, maybe going into the summer of before next season, and everything else is clear. So let's get into this game now. So Fleetwood Town, 8th in the table, only 2 points off of Barnsley, who are sitting there in 6th place. I think this is one that we're going to have to play, guys. Away at Fleetwood, big game. I think we may have actually played these guys at their own place, or sorry, at our place. Earlier on in the career mode in some sort of episode. So I think we're going to stick with this lineup right here. This will save me going over the lineup for Charlton when we get in there. So Phillips in goal, Oxford and Pearce at the back. Deeksteel at right back, Page at left back, Fosu left mid, Lanez up to a 73 now right mid, Forster Kasky and Aribo in the middle. And of course Vetterkelly and Lyle Taylor up front. Carlin Grant, I am waiting for you to hit some form, mate. You need to hit some form so I can start you over one of these strikers. But at the moment, Vetterkelly and Taylor have been fantastic. So let's get into this game and see if we can pick up the 3 points. So we've already seen the Charlton lineup, but here is the Fleetwood Town lineup. Jones in goal, Burns, Bolger, Morgan and and Jones as well at the back. I don't know if they play a 4 at the back. I always have to wait for it to change. Is it a 4 or is it a 5? It is a 4, so I was correct there. Holt and Marnie, Dean Marnie in midfield. Lim Chan Woo on the right, Hunter on the left, and Ched Evans up front with Madden. Difficult opponent there, but let's have one more little look then at the Charlton starting 11 and subs. You can see the subs on the right there. Phillips in goal, Deek Steele and Page at right and left back. Pearce and Oxford in the middle, as I said. Then in midfield, Joe Rebo and Forster Kaski have done nothing wrong for me this season. They've been very, very good. Fosu and Lanes on the wide positions, and up front, Vettelkelly and Taylor. Let's go, boys. Let's get the win against Fleetwood. Here comes Hunter again down the left for Fleetwood. He's going to dink the cross in. Who's going to meet this? Of course, the header, so overpowered. And it's the right midfielder who puts it in the back of the net. Deflection on the cross. And this guy here, oh, dog barking in the background. She is equally as angry that Chan Wall, the number 13 for Fleetwood, has put one in the back of the net from this overpowered header situation that we've got going on. But seriously, I just don't know how to defend this. Look at this space. Came off of the knee of Deek Steele. And again, Lewis Page beaten in the air for about the 1200th time in this series. And yeah, 1-0 to Fleetwood, unfortunately. Nice little header, to be fair, but just can't defend it, mate. Can't defend it. This is who we want on the ball, guys. He's been so good. Here we go. And a nice through ball. It's going to be Deek Steele now. Can he get the cross in? He's got no room for it. He's going to have to go back to Lanes. Back inside to Aribo. Aribo does well. Aribo, not many options here. We're going to try and find Taylor with his left foot. Oh, it's gone to the back of the net. It was a really slow and not very powerful shot, but the accuracy was there, and Lyle Taylor gets another goal. And is he heading for a third now Player of the Month title? Because he has been really, really good in January. I think this is his third goal of the month. Lanes again played a really key part, but that was a really nice finish actually. And because he took it with his left foot, I wasn't really expecting it to go in. It was just a bit of a sort of random effort that I thought may trouble the keeper, and it certainly did that. And it actually equalises Charlton against Fleetwood, and the score is now 1-1. Decent. Nice from Lewis Page there, really nice. And can we get the perfectly timed through ball? We pretty much can here. And it's Vettelkelly now in the box. Vettelkelly works in space, get the finesse, good save. And Lyle Taylor, are you going to be able to chip this in, Lyle? And we win a corner. Corner's going to come into a dangerous area, hopefully, from Tariq Fosu, and it gets cleared at the near post. Here comes Joe Aribo, has the shot. Oh, and Joe Aribo, another left-footed effort from outside of the box, and this time the midfielder, Joe Aribo, slides to celebrate in front of the Charlton faithful who have made their way here. It's actually not, it's at the opposite end, because I can see some grumbling Fleetwood fans in the shot there. Nice corner. Actually, it wasn't a brilliant corner from Fosu, but it just fell to Aribo, and the strike was really, really good, and that just really, it pleases me. It does please me, because it shows that the finishing training drills that we've been working on for Joe Aribo have been worth it, because I feel like unless we had worked on his finishing, he wouldn't have been able to pull something like that out of his arsehole. So there we go, 2-1. We're 2-1 up in the first half still, so we've got a lot of football to play, but certainly that gives us a lot of confidence going forward into the rest of this game. Here comes Joe Aribo, nice bit of intercepting this time, and it's got to be a goal for Vettelkelly. Oh, it's a great save. I keep going for the finesse with Vettelkelly. Maybe I should have just sprinted and just pile-driven it at the far post there, but I don't think... Oh, it was a good save, actually. It was a good save. Maybe a little bit more accuracy from Vettelkelly would have come in handy there. We've got a corner, though. Okay, here comes the corner from Tariq Fosu. It's better than the last one, and we don't win the header. It's cleared back out to Fosu. He's going to try and head it, I think. And he has found Forster Kaski, who's found Joe Aribo, who's going to have another shot here. Left foot! And this time saved by Jones, the keeper. And that is probably going to be half-time very, very shortly. And that is half-time, guys. The score is 2-1 to Charlton. And we could have had 3 or 4, to be honest. I hope that doesn't come back to bite us. I think we might get some more chances in the second half. We've still got dangerous players on the bench. And Joe Aribo has been the star man for me of that first half. Lots of opportunities that he's had, you know, long-range shots and great passes and interceptions and stuff like that. He's been really, really good. But we go into the second half with an advantage. And Sunderland winning again. What about Scunthorpe? They're currently drawing, actually. They've got a difficult away game, actually, against Barnsley, so hopefully they can drop some points. But we're really chasing Sunderland, so as long as they are held and we win at any point in the next few games, we will make up some points. But let's go into the second half. Oh, straight through the middle, please, Forster Kaski for Lyle Taylor. Lyle Taylor, shoot! Lyle Taylor! Oh, it's a great save from the keeper. We're having lots of chances. I feel like we're going to need to convert a few of these before they turn it back on. Here's Lyle Taylor again. Lyle Taylor doing the right thing there, and there's Vettelkelly. The link-up play between Vettelkelly and Lyle Taylor is just really, really nice at the moment. And Vettekele gets on the score sheet as well as Lyle Taylor, who's already scored in this game. And that was a nice bit of link-up play. The number 14 with a nice, just pretty simple finish there. Turn and shot. Lyle Taylor, left-footed pass, bang. And past the keeper. 3-1 Charlton. That is the goal that we desperately needed. One more angle of this one. It's actually, it didn't even take a touch. It was just a straight-up finesse past the keeper. Well played, Vettekele. Here comes Ched Evans. Ched Evans to Long. Long gets the shot off and it's wide of goal, and we are going to make now in the 68th minute a triple substitution. On comes Solly, Pratley and Grant for Vettekele, Forster-Caskey and Lewis Page. I feel like we've got a 2-goal gap here, and you know, in real life this would not be advisable at this sort of minute of the match, but I feel like some fresh legs in this game are really going to do us a world of good. Diego Lainez. Nice ball, lots of space from Pratley if he can find Tariq Fosu here. What a pass from Darren Pratley. And he's going to try and find Grant. Oh, that was poor from Fosu, really. Win the header here. Nice deep steal. Can we stab it away from them? No, they've still got the ball. Pratley can't get it away, neither can Oxford. Deek still eventually does, and Aribo is going to set us on an attack. Pratley, another nice pass from Pratley. Back to Fosu, back to Pratley. Pratley's going to try and send a lofted through ball. He is going to find Lainez. Lainez is going to turn inside. Lainez still with the ball now. He's going to try and find a little cheeky pass into Pratley. Pratley, oh, is that a penalty? That is a penalty. Pratley tried the back heel, and is that the number 22? I think it is that lunged in there really, really unnecessarily. And this could be a chance to make it 4-1. Now, who is going to take this penalty for me? I think I have an idea of who I want to take it. So apparently, Lainez is actually our best taker. 66 penalties there. But I think I want to give Karlan Grant a chance. He hasn't scored lately, and maybe we can boost his confidence if we can get this in from the penalty spot here. And this is what I always like to do. Take the very long run up. Have we got the target on? We have. We're going to stick this to the right-hand side of the keeper. Hopefully he doesn't guess. And he does actually, and he makes the save. And Karlan Grant misses the penalty, and that is going to damage his confidence. That was the risk I was taking, though. And it's not a chance taken to go 4-1 up, but we still have some time here. So the full-time whistle's gone, guys, and in terms of Karlan Grant's confidence, maybe not the most ideal ending to the game, but all that matters really for Charlton Athletic Football Club is that score sheet, and we have won 3-1 at Fleetwood Town. Very, very difficult away game. Let's have a look at the ratings, and I'm dreading to see what Karlan Grant's was, because I really want him to start hitting some form, but I know that everybody else's rating will be very, very good. So here are our player ratings. Joe Aribo with the man of the match, and that for me is without doubt. He was such a good player defensively and attacking wise as well. Got the goal, didn't grab an assist, but assist did come from Diego Lainez as always, and Lyle Taylor as well. The other one we must have pounced on a mistake or something like that, I'm not sure. But the goals obviously came from Lyle Taylor, Joe Aribo and Igor Vettekele, who eventually subbed off. In terms of the ratings, everybody more or less above a 7. Karlan Grant down at a 6.2. I actually thought it might be a bit lower than that, but that's fine. Not too much to worry about for his form. Chris Solly 6.5, the other substitute, and Pratley came on and actually made quite an impact at 7.2. Everybody else really on 9s, 8s, 7s, and overall, very, very good team performance. Match stats there, we doubled Fleetwood's chances and we had 9 of our 10 shots on target, which is always good to see. So looking at the table here, Sunderland obviously also got the win in their last game because the point gap between us and them remains to be 3 points, which is quite frustrating, but we will break in there if we just continue our good form. And you may have been wondering when I was speaking about Lyle Taylor maybe getting the player of the month in the last game, what was he talking about? And you would be very, very right, because we are actually of course now in February, which means that I have not fully understood the concept of player of the month, because we do have to now select our player for January for player of the month, and of course our January goal of the month as well. So for goal of the month, there are a couple that I was sort of torn between. One was that Lainez, Diego Lainez, last minute equaliser. I think it was against, I want to say Barnsley, but I might be wrong because I feel like we might have beaten Barnsley. Whoever it was against, we managed to grab a goal in the very last minute, last kick of the game. Lainez with some nice dribbling in the box. That doesn't make it though, and it is going to be this goal right here, which was just very, very neatly and nicely worked. And Lainez came provider on this for none other than our talisman Lyle Taylor, our number 9, who is on 16 goals this season as I'm recording this episode. And this was a nice little tapping goal, but it was just the passing manoeuvre and the perfection of the timing of the passes and stuff like that that makes this goal my goal of the month for January. So now to player of the month. Let's go over to our squad hub and have a little look at who may be a contender. Now, to be perfectly honest, I feel like Lainez probably needs to get a player of the month Month award very, very soon. He's been playing so well, loads of assists, but the other player also for January is going to be Lyle Taylor, because I just feel like he's still continuing that reliable goal scoring, poaching trait that he's been carrying with us all season to make us, you know, he's scored so many goals and he's been so important for us. So between, again, Lyle Taylor and Diego Lainez, and I think, again, and this might annoy some people, but I do think that just edging out Diego Lainez once again is going to be Mr. Lyle Taylor, because his goal scoring is just prolific. He scores from outside the box, inside the box. He's always in the right position. And although Lainez is so brilliant at providing the assists and the passes and the attacking opportunities for him, I still think that Taylor is just about edging it. Look at his form arrow as well. It's right pointing literally vertically upwards, whereas obviously Lainez is still up, but not quite as much. So I think the game kind of agrees with me. And Lyle Taylor, yet again, is going to win his third now Player of the Month award for Charlton Athletic in the first season of this career mode. So Lyle Taylor, January Player of the Month. So Mr. Toby Bell has found another 3 players over in China that he recommends that we sign to Charlton Athletic. So the first of which is Jiu Ling Hei, and again I think he's left over from the previous scouting update, and he is still at a 79 potential overall. So again, we'll leave him in here just to see if he sort of gets a better overall, I suppose. The next player is Chen Yang, who, look at that, his potential is between 70 and 94. So that is a player that I definitely think is worth investing some money into. His current overall is quite low, but he is 15 years old, so he's got 2 more years on that guy who we're going to look at next, Fang Ren, for example. But let's have a look at Fang Ren then, and he is 42 to 58 overall with an 63 to 85 overall potential. A left-footed player, looks like he can play left back and left midfield. What about this guy, Chen Yang? More of a sort of left forward. Lots of different positions, these guys. I know I did press overall any position, but yeah, it can be a bit annoying to identify which position these guys are in. But look, there's some pretty good players that he's fed back to us this time, particularly this guy, Chen Yang, who I really like the look of him, and I really like the look of that overall potential, but I'm going to let that be a bit more specific. So what I'm going to do, he's 6'6", this guy, by the way. I'm going to let him basically stay in our youth academy for another month, and I don't want to leave it too long because sometimes other teams come and snap up your players, but all of these 3 guys, I'm going to leave him for another month. I'm especially looking at this guy. He looks like he could be an absolute worldie. So we've got 2 player conversations going on here, one of which is Carlton Grant, who doesn't want to be benched for the next game. I like that from him. I even in myself believe that he needs more starting time, and I know he missed that penalty, but I feel like if we reward him with a start, he might score, so I'll consider that. The other is George Lapsley, who I hate to say hasn't played much, but his rating that FIFA gave him just isn't up to scratch, and I just can't afford to play him in many important games. We're out of, I think, all of the trophies this season now, so it's literally just league games that I think we have to worry about at the moment. And yeah, George Lapsley having a bit of a moan, so maybe at the end of this season we're going to have to look at getting him a loan or maybe even a permanent deal away from the Valley. But next up in League 1 is Chris Powell, Southend United at the Valley. I feel pretty comfortable simulating this one. Let's have a look at where Southend are in the table. They are 14th. 37 points, only 9 wins compared to Charlton's 17 wins this season, so I'm feeling very advantageous going into this. Let's just sort out our starting 11 and we'll get into simming this one. Right guys, so let's get into this game against Southend United. We've made 2 changes here, one of which is the left back Earl, who is, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, a little bit higher rated than Lewis Page at the moment, and we have rewarded Grant with his ballsy comment to us with a start ahead of Igor Vetekeli, which was a difficult decision, but actually Carlton Grant has a form arrow going upwards, which is bizarre to me because he hasn't played too well lately. He had that one game where he got an assist quite recently, but other than that he's been getting pretty much 6 out of 10s most games. But anyway, we're going to get into this game against Southend United. We have gone immediately 1-0 up in 4 minutes, and it's Lainez on the penalty, who actually, yeah, he was the highest rated penalty taker for us in the last game, so maybe we need to stick him on penalties. They've equalised though through Cox, but we are still in the first half, just into the second half now. Please can somebody score for us? Solly comes on, Barrett comes on for them. We need to grab a second goal here. Mantum comes on, Hendry comes on, and then we go Lyle Taylor. He is so prolific for us. Hopefully that can be the last goal of the game, and it is. 90 minutes played. Charlton take the 3 points against Southend United. Very, very good result there. Another 3 points on the board, and I didn't see in the little latest scores section, I wasn't paying much attention to that, but I don't know what Sunderland or Scunthorpe's scores were, but we can maybe have a look at the table, and yeah, they did win again because the gap is still 3 points, which is really annoying. And then we have this one game here against Sunderland coming up. So I think I might have to save that for the next episode, actually. Yeah, I think that's going to be a very, very key game. In fact, I don't know why I'm even understating this. It's probably the biggest game of the season. Because once we get ahead of them, they're playing catch-up. And if we can get the 3 points in this game, that will be huge. So that is going to be the end of this episode then, just purely because Sunderland are coming up against us as the opponent. So I don't know if that's home or away, but we will find out on the next episode of the Charlton Athletic Career Mode. Make sure you leave a like on this one. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new. And I'll see you very, very shortly with another episode. See you later, everybody, and sweet.